What's quack-a-lacking, guys? I'm with that Quack here, and welcome back to another Marquee matchups video. Now, this is just going to be a very short, very simple video, just because it's quite obvious of the potential options that they can use. So, over the last month and a bit, we've seen EA start to introduce the European games and the Champions League games into the rotation for Marquee matchups. Now, these games usually are released on a Monday by EA, which would be tomorrow for us. So, as you can see here, we've got 8 different teams. Well, a player from each of the 8 different teams, and it covers 2 games in the Europa League and 2 games in the Champions League. So we're just going to have a quick look at these. They're the safest options. EA might differentiate and use a couple of different matches. For example, this Manchester United Anderlecht game, it's unlikely to be used just because United Chelsea are already in the Marquee matchups at the moment, but you can never rule anything out. As for investments though, personally, I'd stay away from this one and look at the other 3 myself. So we'll start with the United game, just to make it easy. We've got Manchester United against Anderlecht, obviously. It's the Europa League game, and if you're looking to invest in these kind of players, it's very hard to invest in Manchester United players at the moment, just because their prices are already inflated due to the current Marquee matchups, and because the rewards are so good, they're very expensive. The Anderlecht players would definitely be more affordable, but if the Manchester United players aren't going to be used or it's not going to be in it, it makes it a very risky investment. Moving on to the other game, we've got Ajax against Schalke. Now, this one's much more likely. We've got a Bundesliga team here, and then we've got Ajax, which are in the Eredivisie, I believe. Yeah, so very simple investments here. If you're looking to pick players up, keep it simple as always. So go for your gold players. Try and pick them up as close to discard as you can, because if they're not needed, then we don't want to be wasting any kind of money. The other important thing to always remember with this is get players that will cover any formation, because then it's safe. So if we look at the positions here, we've got goalkeepers and strikers, which are used in every single formation. These ones are usually the least profitable just because they're so common. It's your midfielders that you know are going to be used and your centre-backs. They're guaranteed again in every formation. If you can pick these guys up at a decent rating, ideally rare quality, just in case there's a requirement, and potentially from the nation the league's in. So if it's Schalke, you're going to be looking at German players, for example. That makes it a safer investment yet again. If you're picking up your fullbacks or your left mid, right mid, and they pick a formation that doesn't use them, you're in a little bit of trouble just because the chemistry requirements can be quite high often on these. So just play it safe with who you pick up. We then move on to the obvious ones again, so the Champions League investments. We've got 2 matches here. We've got Juventus-Barcelona, and we've got Atletico Madrid against Leicester. Now, Atletico Madrid-Leicester, you've got some very simple investment choices. Like Leicester have got the likes of Slimani, which is just a bit above discard, but then half their team apart from him are literally discard. The likes of Hoof, Morgan. The problem with them are, though, however, we need to keep the rating up on this. Just in case they have an 80 rated team and we've got a 74, 75 rated Leicester player, it's not going to be ideal. The same for Atletico. There's so many different players, but try and pick them up the highest rating you can for the cheapest possible price. Same goes exactly for Juventus and Barcelona. They're much bigger teams, so a lot of their players are already worth quite a lot. Picking up decent rated players for these teams at a decent price could ensure profit. Just remember, you're looking out for their quality, you're looking out for their positions, you're looking out for their nationality, and taking it all into account when you're thinking about making this team. Obviously, if you're taking someone like Suarez, it's going to be a lot harder to build a hybrid around him if you're moving into Calcio because he's being Uruguayan. If you're picking up, for example, Higuain, Argentinian players in La Liga, are a lot easier to hybrid into. So keep that in mind when you're building your team. It all depends on who you feel is most likely to get in the Marquee matchups, although they've all got a pretty good chance. Personally, what I've invested in myself is we've got a load of Rafinhas and Silasons, so very high-rated players for discard value, basically. 81 and 80 for the Barcelona players, and then we went for Neto for the Juventus player. Easy money. I've only gone for 1 game myself because it's the game I most likely see being picked because it's such a big game. And with having decent ratings on these players as well, I feel like we're fairly safe. Worst case scenario, the game isn't included, and we're not going to really lose money. You can see we picked all these guys up for 800-900 coins, so there's very little to risk going into this. It should be quite straightforward, this Marquee matchups, guys. It's always been the Champions League and then the Europa game. I could see there being one curveball in there, but we're not going to bother ourselves investing in it. If you guys can guess what it is, though, you could make a lot of money off that, just because it's unpredicted and people won't be expecting it quite as much. Anyway, guys, I'm just going to leave the video there. Like I said, a really nice short one, just covering the marquee matchups. If you did enjoy it, make sure you drop your like, subscribe if you're new, comment down with any questions you've got regarding anything. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.